I'm gonna take a sip of water and
And I've got my whole mug of tea here as well. I've got a nice big
you got
one.
your mug of tea.
My mug of tea.
Mug of
Yes,
tea. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
proper mug of tea.
I know. I know. Hello. How are you doing? Anyway, how you doing? How you
I'm
keeping?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. So, because I'm just gonna get right into it, because do you know what? I was watching ours again today, right? Earlier on, just because I was quite inspired, and I'm like, oh, let me just see what we touched upon before. Do you know what? And I sat there writing down my list of questions. I was like, there's only a few, there's not a lot. And I was like, asking this, asking this. I think I could see his viewpoint on this. So literally, I was like, I cannot wait for our part two today. So I was like really buzzed and really excited for it today.
All right, well let's fire away. I'm ready.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's do
Right, so
this.
we're ready. So, like, okay, so the biggest one, right, that I keep getting asked at the moment, and I really want your viewpoint on it as well, is so men, right? To shave or
Yes.
not to shave?
Shave. Uh, I mean, look, it's not that I don't. It just it looks bad. It's like have when you pull a lot of hair out of a drain and it's
Mm,
clumped together. That's what
yeah.
a really hairy leg looks like in tights. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay. Yeah.
it's just not appealing. Also, it draws attention in the wrong way. I think like it just sort of
Mm.
looks odd, and that is a hypocritical thing for me to say, considering who I am. But at the same time, I am a hypocrite. So there you go.
This is why I love talking to you. Every time I'm like talking about my series and stuff, and I'm like, I see the one with Pantyhose King on. You're like, no, I'm like, you need to watch it. I was like, honestly, even watching it today, I was sitting there smiling the whole time because it was like, I just, I love it. I just love the fact that you just say it how it is.
I
So,
I can't do it any other way. It has been like a blessing and a curse my entire life. I will fire it out, and then
yeah,
the repercussions happen. Usually there's repercussions. Sometimes I get, people saying, "Oh wow, you tell it like it is, like you do," but a lot of times people are like, "Wow, we need to fire him." Or
no, I get that. No, it's just, I only ask that question because I get it a lot as to, in terms of, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, one, it's not my legs. Do you know what I mean? So it's different me commenting, but
what
I'm
do you
kind of,
what do you
I
think?
mean, do you know what? I think I'm for it. I think, but I say I'm for it. So this is my reasoning. So before, okay, so I normally get lasered. I have laser treatment, so I'm pretty much hair free at this point now. But like beforehand, I used to always wear opaques, just say if I hadn't shaved for the day or if I hadn't had a waxing session and
Right.
whatnot, just because, yeah, because I didn't feel comfortable. And especially there's a whole notion of women having hairy legs and that whole beauty standard. That's
Mhm.
one thing as it is anyway. But I understand it from a man's point of view if they haven't shaved. So just say if they're I don't like the word, but closeted. Just say if they haven't come out and about and they kind of want to go about their, for instance, if they're going out with their family, they want to wear, shorts and stuff, but they've got shaved legs, it'd be like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? So I can
I get it.
understand
I get
why
it.
some do and some don't.
But I think that that's just sort of like if you want to look at it as like a baby step towards wearing openly, it
Mm,
would be sort of like a test. It would be to test people around you to find out who's going to be the annoying pricks and who's going to be cool with it. Like if somebody asks, "Oh, do you shave your legs?" Then you say yes, and then that should be the end of the conversation. And then if they say
yeah,
why, be like, "Because I wanted to." And then if they ask more, it's like, do you like want to take photos of them, or would you like to maybe, I don't know, touch them? Are you, because you seem a little focused on my legs today. I appreciate it,
yeah,
but I mean, it's sort of it's another thing where I think it's, if you want to do it, and most guys that I know that want to do it, they just can't. uh
yeah.
you should do it, because nobody is going to destroy you over shaved legs. Just, there's so
Mm,
many arguments. You could say, I have folliculitis. If I don't do this, I get outbreaks. If I,
yes.
I like to swim. I don't know, or or I used to swim and I just kind of got used to it, or I like the way it looks, or I like the way
Mm,
it feels, or you could lie and say my significant other wants me to shave, or like I mean,
mm,
there's ways around it, but honestly, just the feeling
yeah.
the feeling of wearing tights with shaved legs is so much better. Like, and as a
Mm,
woman, I don't think you can quite get like we men we get hairy, and so like it's like basically wearing a sweater over your legs. So imagine wearing like a like a hair sweater and then removing the hair and then feeling the tights for the first time. It's like you can't go back, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I see your point, and it is. I'm kind of like, God, I'm going back years now, but it is. Yeah, it is. I do remember when I used to wear tights and I did like, and I didn't shave my legs. I didn't have my legs waxed, and it was not full hair growth. Obviously, it's never going to be like how men's legs are, but
No,
it is. I remember it was, the tights kind of going against the grain. It was really sort of like, oh, and it was just, it wasn't comfortable. I mean,
no,
obviously, your legs adjust yourself. It does its thing, and you're fine after. But I think initially it was a bit of a weird feeling. But then I suppose as a girl, you kind of just get used to it. You think, okay, yeah, cool. I'm only wearing tights for the day. It's fine. Like you get over it. I'll be getting
hmm
waxed next week, so it's okay. But yeah, I
I
get
mean,
that.
I say do it. I really do. I mean, we live in a time now where it's very much, I don't want to say chic, but it is very popular, or at least
Mm,
it's socially becoming more acceptable to play with gender
yeah,
fluidity. And I think anybody, at least, I'm not sure what happens is happening in the UK, but it's big over here in the US. And
yeah,
it's almost like an armor that's built in, because people really can't say anything to you because it would be interpreted as like hate speech. You know what I'm saying? Like, so use that
yeah.
to your benefit. And like, because I don't think that it's going to necessarily be the topic du jour for the rest of like time. So you know
Mm,
the same way that when metrosexuality came out in the early 2000s, and it was basically
yeah,
just a way for straight guys to like, I mean, when I think they probably were bi, but the guys who wanted to like look really pretty and look well
yeah,
groomed, but yeah, we're still straight, they were metro. And it was like they were just basically looking like gay guys, but they were straight. So it's sort of like, dabble a little bit, be like,
yeah, yeah. I get you. I get what you're saying, and I suppose it is sort of because I always say, just don't be afraid to be you. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose we kind of obviously touched upon that last time as well, just to sort of say, just do your thing. And yeah, I suppose it is just give it a go once, and then if it doesn't work out, like if you prefer not to do it again, do you know what I mean? At least you've
yes.
tried it and you haven't knocked it. So
Like, I know guys who they are just not into it. They do not like it. They like the way that hair looks under pantyhose. Like, that's their thing.
yeah,
But more like, but they're like not very common. I'd say maybe one out of like every 20 wears is like that. So, the other 19, I'd say just go for it, because
mm,
you really can't. I mean, it's true. You should say to yourself, don't be afraid to be who you are, but actually it's okay to be afraid to be who you are,
mm,
but be brave enough to try it. And then you will
yeah,
find out that you aren't afraid. Because I think all of us are afraid of parts of ourselves, you know?
mm,
And we have to face that and come to terms with it. So maybe be
mm,
afraid, but then also be brave enough to face it, and then you will accept and not be afraid of yourself.
mm. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I totally get that. Okay. Okay. Food for thought. People food for thought.
I got a
Yeah,
a little deep for this time of day.
I know, but well, it's cool. I think that's one thing I love about you as well. It's like we can take it to so many different levels and it's cool. It's not like, oh my God, can we like stop and hold on a second? It's very much like, no, man, come on, you're
Yeah, I'm,
good.
I'm all over the charts. I'm like a pantyhose, like bouncing ball of topics. Just that made no
Oh
sense, but
God.
okay.
No, but I get you. I get you. But yeah,
I
so another okay. So another thing, right, that I really, really wanted to like ask you, only because people are asking me, and I'm like, oh, I need somebody to speak to, like to speak to about, and I'm like, you are like the best person. So oh no, honestly, so it's like at the moment, I don't know, you probably would have seen it because it's everywhere. and it probably might be dying down a bit. It's not as hyped as what it was when it first came out. But you know about the no pants look? Have you seen it on a lot of obviously the models, the really skinnier models?
Yeah, yeah, I have. I and well, I'm curious to be what the question is. What's the question on the no pants look?
Yeah, what do you think to it? Like in terms of as a look, and do you think men could pull something like that off?
No, no, and here's why. Um, it's you got. I don't want to curse, but you have a certain like there's certain things that are just frightening to say small children or people who aren't anticipating seeing something like that during the day. So seeing the outline of your, everything is really non-consensual. You're going to have to get yourself a cup. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to treat it
Mm,
as though you're, like playing sports, you got to make it amorphous. You got to look like a Ken doll. You can't, I mean, we've all been to the gym and there's been that one guy there who is not wearing support and you
yeah,
see it all. And it's not pleasant. And you can be the best looking guy out there. You can have whatever, the most like, amazing junk, if that
mm,
is even a thing. But
yeah,
um, I think it's just a bit too much. I don't know if people need to see the outlines of privates in public, in polite society. And maybe that's because of a little bit of the Puritan, like residuals that, that you get from, being American. But what can I say? You got to put on a little bit of like, cover up because I'm sorry if I'm
yeah,
out babysitting, my niece and she's 4 and there's a guy walking around and there's like a
yeah,
layer of nylon between that and his. I'm
everything.
gonna be like, you are a pervert, sir, and
Mm,
that's just sort of how I would react, my initial protective reaction. So no,
yeah.
I don't think we can. I think it works for like women because it's flat and there's nothing to be seen. Although we all know that it can happen with women where you see, I can I if you have to censor this, but like, can you say camel hoof or is that
Yeah, that's cool. We can go with
okay?
that.
We all
Just
don't want to.
getting on
Nobody
the
wants
last
to see that
name.
either, right? Like you don't want to see camel hoof at the gym. So you
Yeah.
got to take care of your outlines. So that's my official response. I think.
Mm, okay. No, yeah, I wanted to ask your opinion on it just because obviously because I know like tend to dabble in fashion and everything as well. And it was like I didn't know how I felt about it when I first saw it, and I'm like, what? Like, is this actually a thing? And then it's like when I saw it more and more, especially on like, oh God, who's the one I recently came across? Was it Kendall Jenner, I think? And then there was obviously a couple of others. And it's like, one, obviously, you can kind of class it as model behavior, but then also it's like, I'm not being funny. It's you. I don't think that applies to every woman just walking around central London or walking around in a hometown, kind of
No,
like,
and
oh yeah, you're
Kendall Jenner
that.
has never been a model. I mean, like, let's face. I'm just saying, like, Kendall Jenner, not really. Like, you're not. You just sort of paid to be one. So
Yeah.
that's the issue there. But that aside, you know, unfortunately, people look up to you, and
Yeah.
you're giving people like bad advice with your clothing choices.
Mm,
And
yeah.
but then again, the Kardashians or Jenners or whichever, they've never really
Yeah,
like,
that's something else. Yeah.
they've never given a bug a toss, have they? I
No,
shouldn't have.
that's very true. It's very true. No,
But I
because
mean,
it's yeah.
I
No,
don't really
sorry,
like
sorry.
them. I don't, I don't see the appeal, I guess, is my thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And even with this whole sort of no pants trend, I think to be honest, that's so loud. Sorry, it's probably so loud on mine. I'm hoping you
Oh,
don't
well,
hear it that
we can tell everybody that was me farting because it's fine.
but yeah,
Excuse me.
I just yeah, I really don't know. It shouldn't be a thing because I get like hosiery is one thing as however you style it, whether it's with shorts, dresses, skirts, however, under trousers or whatever. But you just think that on its own, and even like because I'm very much because I was like even taking a look back at all my sort of videos and all my journeys on my brand, and it was like even when I kind of sort of said about like I call it S3X because just in case everything kind of flags up, but it's like that sells, and when you think I'm so like not like against it, but like I don't like it, and you just think there's so much of it, and that's kind of portraying that in saying that well yeah, like it's not right on a man, but if it's on a woman it's okay because she looks sexy, she looks stunning, you think like
I mean, yeah, but
really.
it's sort of you have to ask yourself, like it would okay, the no pants look if you put it on like some sort of high male fashion model who, like
Mm,
and the final images that you see are they're airbrushed, they're tweaked. Anything
yeah,
out of place is in place. You're never seeing legitimately what's there. So that's an
yeah,
illusion to start with. So, and basically the whole like, yeah, sex sells, but like when is it sort of just stepping into like you're just kind of doing a pornographic uh,
yeah,
twist. You're just basically walking around looking naked, even though you're not naked. And,
yeah.
that's hardly what I would call like, that's Coco Chanel maybe made a bigger scene in fashion than something like that. Let's just say, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
fashion is to not wear clothes, then what is fashion?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, everybody just
absolutely.
get drop dead naked and then like walk down the runway, and then we'll just call it a day and say we've got to stop as a human race because we've gone too far, and we have to politely leave the planet because we're insane.
No, I totally get that. Totally get that. Yeah.
Like
God. No, yeah. They were
you're
my
doing
moments.
more for tights and pantyhose fashion than they ever will, and you also
Mm,
don't have to resort to cheap tactics. You never have, which is
yeah.
which is really it's I mean it's not only is it admirable, but it also is a testament to your like your business acumen. So yeah, you may not be a Jenner, but don't know if that's a bad thing. And say you won out in that side. So
Thanks. Get a bit more class, not trying to,
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
intimidate, but
If
yeah.
you were to weigh class and you're like you're sort of like up in the heavens and they're naked on the floor and without pants on, scrambling for a scrap of dignity. I'm sorry, Jenner family, that wasn't nice of me.
It's not that they're gonna watch us anyway, so it's okay.
No, but I
Hopefully.
mean, just in case they are, you guys are so slutty, just slutty sluts. Except for you, Kim. You're a real hardworking businesswoman. You are. You knew.
Yeah.
You came from nothing except for the millions that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
I love when she's telling
But
everybody like, "You got to work. You got to get up and work." I was like, "Huh?"
oh yeah, I know. I remember seeing all that and how much aggro came from that. But
I was
yeah.
like, "Didn't you get your career started with a sex tape, dear?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's what you call work, I mean, more power to you. But like, those days are those are far behind me. I retired that a while ago. So thank you, but no thank you.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I've kind of like hijacked it. Normally part two is just like your space, your platform. So was there
I,
anything you want us to talk about today before I decided to just bombard you with questions?
I love being bombarded with questions. I actually do journalism, all the time myself. So I'm usually the one bombarding. So this is fun for me just to answer questions because I usually am the one that has to ask them. So you can, and plus I don't think you can hijack uh, your own show because I think that's allowed. So you can hijack it and you can ask me questions and I'm ready to answer. I love this.
Oh, okay. So if any more come up, you best believe I'm just gonna go right in with it. Right
Yes,
in.
do it. I'm ready.
Oh goodness. But was there anything you want us to talk about today?
I
Like
mean,
what?
I didn't think before I came on because I thought it was going to be an interview, and I just sort of was, kind of like empty headed a bit. I mean, anything that I want to talk about as far as, well, I mean, I do enjoy what you've been doing with your the journeys lately, and I have to say, I'm noticing a trend of guys showing their faces more. Like
Yeah,
it's I think it's finally happening
yeah.
where the initial like trepidation is starting to fade away. So I did want to comment on that. And I also did want to ask you, what is the newest and bestest tights that I can get from you because I need to get another pair and I need to know what you would recommend for a guy like me. Let's say built like a giant man, likes to wear
Let's
black.
see. Okay, I would say, okay, so basing it on kind of a bit of market research, kind of what I like, kind of what I've seen, I'd probably say I think the ultimate is the seamless collection, just because, especially with the male anatomy, it
Mm-hmm.
works really well. I mean, one, I love them to bits because they're so comfortable. Just
Yeah,
to
they are. I have a
like
pair of one. I have one pair that
they're
they're
just
really comfy.
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's like the nicest thing is you can wear them with or without underwear as well. So it's, I mean, obviously that's always down to personal preference, but I won't go into too much detail with what I do because there's, yeah, let's just not.
But
But
you, but your
but
fans.
yeah, I know, but TMI. But yeah, I think that would, yeah. So that collection definitely, I know for a fact, like a lot of, especially men buying for the first time, or bad to say men, but men or males with the male anatomy.
Males with the male anatomy.
Yes, yeah, whoever has the male anatomy.
Anybody with a ding dong and the door knockers that yeah.
Yes, anybody who has that, because obviously there's a whole range of LGBTQ plus
Mm-hmm.
out there. Yeah, I would definitely say that's the first thing I've noticed, that especially if they're new buyers and they've not sort of, they've either been recommended or they've just come across my page. The first thing they normally go for is the seamless, and then once they've tried the seamless, they'll go into the sheer. There's obviously the After Dark collection, which is just amazing. Um, See, I'm biased saying all this, but it's all, you know what it is? It's only because the pieces that I pick for the collections that I have, they have, like, I have to truly love them. I can't put something out there where it's, I know it's a half-ass thing, thinking, oh, sod it, let's just sell it. No, it's because my name's against it. I'm very much, it's gotta be top. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna invest in it. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm not gonna put that out there to the people because they
No.
didn't trust me and believe in me to have good quality luxury products. So that's what I mean. It's like every one of them I really like in their own way. But I'll probably say, yeah, definitely seamless, because they're so comfortable. And especially, like, I don't know if you dabble in colors,
I
but
dabble in colors, yes.
good. Okay, good. I only say that because, with my black, nude, and the Parisian collections, they're more sort of a matte type of finish, whereas the coloured ones, so you've got the pale, you've got oceanic, raspberry, Parma violets, and ruby. They've got a semi shine to them, so they have like a lot of it. Naturally, they're softer feeling anyway, but they have a semi shine to them. Oh my god, they're so nice in the sunlight. I wore a pair the other day, and I'm like, oh, my looks look so good.
See, I'm
So
I'm a
yeah,
shine lover myself. Like love the shine.
yeah. So that's definitely one. And another one, which if you do like shine, is, I don't know if you've seen it, but the silver
I
and
just saw it. The one that
yeah,
just came out.
yeah. They're basically,
Yes,
you know how your background picture is just there where you've caught the shine. That's what it's like on the silver. It's that subtle shine, but when it catches the light, it's stunning.
that's going to be the one I think I'm ordering then because
Yeah, they're
I've been
nice.
sold. I've been sold on it, and it and it looks like it goes well with neutrals like as well.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, one thing I really like about it is, because I was okay, so because I've always had this love-hate relationship with grays. Like, I never used to wear them a lot. I was trying to find the right gray. And I've been experimenting with a lot recently in terms of like just different Walford brands and a different, like, Levante and all them. And I was like, do you know what? Grey's a really cool color. And then when I decided to go with silver, it's not like a grandma gray. It's very much like when you get them on. So when you first look at it, you think, oh, okay, this is quite gray. But then when you get them on, one, they don't look like 20 denier whatsoever. And two, they have this gorgeous pearl gray type of shine to them. So they're not like, it just doesn't look fuddy duddy.
It has
It's
like
very,
a luminescence to it. It's got or
yeah,
iridescence to it, where it's like slightly that like
yeah,
when it's like when oil hits water and it has that like sort of effect where
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know what I
but
think.
that's why I love them so much because it's not like your typical grays that you get where you like, you can pick it up from like a drugstore or like a high street and you think, oh, for God's sake, like this is something my grandma would wear. But yeah,
I think that you should get some male models. I don't know who you could find that you could find to
I
wear
know.
them, but if you had pictures taken of them, and I mean, I'm just saying these models may know photographers, and I am talking about me, but I'm serious. Like, you need to have photos of your products being worn
I do.
and show like the public. And you have been such a proponent for men wearing for such a long time before anybody else that is currently now sort of basking in it. And because I think they're using the like some of them are using the platform of having pictures of male models as a way to really advertise and show that they're advocates, and that's great. But I want you to have that because you were there first, and it's not like it's a competition or that it makes their
No.
acceptance any less genuine. It's just you were doing this before it was being done, and we all know
Mm.
this. So I would like to I'd like to see that happen, and I can make it happen. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Please, please do. Please do. No, honestly,
I
it
will.
is,
I will. We'll talk. We'll
yeah,
talk after the interview. We'll talk about that.
we will. We will. We'll be discussing details. Don't you worry.
But
But
um, but that's all I
yeah.
had to ask for as far as my questions go. Those were my genuine ones. Oh,
No.
and when's the store gonna happen? When's the store gonna be official? Official?
Seriously, I'm working on it. I'm just so this year, right? I sat down and I made a bit of a plan, and then I even had a bit of a brainstorming session today. And even it kind of continued right before we started with this call as well. That's how I was like, yeah, okay, don't worry if you're a little bit late because I'm just gonna do something anyway. But it's like I have so many big plans, and the thing is, I now need to. You know what it is? Not trying to make excuses, anything because I'm so passionate about this and I want this. It is just work getting in the way because of how much we have on this year. I kind of under first thing first, but it was when he first started talking about my boss, he was like, yeah, 2023, it's gonna be busy, but it'll be manageable. I'm like, that's great. Do you know what? It can carry on how it's going. I can put more into my business and I can just run with it. Now it's like it just exploded within the last 2 months. And you're like, so it's a progress. It's progress. It's in the works.
You know what I
Why
think
not?
you could do? You have a huge pool of fans. Why not look for, say, an intern and maybe you could pay them in tights? And if they were able, maybe anybody out there who's watching or listening, if you know anything about building a website, you know, reach out to Sony and she can maybe, work out a deal where she
Yeah,
gives you product for your services. I mean, something like that would be, I just think you need help with it in a sense that you've got so
yeah,
much going on, you're no longer a one person business. You
yeah.
need to have people, and I'm sure that there are people out there who are wanting to get involved with you in that like sense. If I knew anything about computers, but I'm 500 years old as of yesterday, I would help myself. But unfortunately, I was born when they invented fire, so I don't know that much about computers.
About it. Okay, well, listen, I'm not going to hold it against you. It's okay. It's
Oh
okay.
no, it's okay because I am literally too old to care. I just would be like, I would have
Yeah.
felt bad about that at 300, but at
But
500,
no, because it's five. No.
500, I'm mature.
Oh gosh, but no, actually, that actually is a good shout. I actually might put a call out to be fair and just be like, does anybody know anything? And can you help me? I'm more than happy to negotiate something with you. But
I
yeah,
feel like you
honestly,
have somebody that's. I feel like you'll have a few people that would be able to say yes to that.
yeah. Yeah, so no, and I do, and even with having models, even when we last spoke about it, saying it'd be nice to have like this whole diverse range in terms of like leg sizes, just body shapes, different body sizes, men, women, LGBTQ community. It is,
Big, small,
yeah,
tall, short, the whole gamut.
the whole shebang. But
Hmm.
honestly, I've already got a mood board sorted. I know exactly how I want it to go. It's now making it happen. So I need people. I kind of have a photographer already somewhere lurking at home, and you as well, and you as well. Don't worry about that. You're going to be included in this.
And
But
I
yeah,
come with my own photographer. I got my own
yeah,
studio space and everything. I can literally go to the studio and shoot them, and it looks proper professional. I,
yeah.
and I'd love to do it because I'm vain and egotistical, but I'm also in love with your product.
Oh no, I see. I'm glad. I like that. See, that's what I mean. Is I want to work with people who have passion for hosiery, not just oh like. So I thought about it, and it's like I remember when one of my friends, right? So she had a lingerie business, and she asked me to be a model for her. I was like, yeah, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And I was like, and then she picked all these. She picked some other people, and when they came, it was like they had no interest,
They
and it
were,
was like, oh yeah,
yeah,
can we? Yeah, when are we gonna get paid? Can we like just hurry up and get this done? And you're like, and I was truly like rooting for her brand. I was like, yes, I was like, try this. When you're just palming ideas off, you're having a whole but like fun day, and you think these models were just sitting there like, yeah, okay, like when's the next
yeah.
nail? And you're like, really? So it's like I want to work with enthusiastic because you know what I find it shows in photos. It actually shows.
I will not lie. I will tell you the truth. Like, and this is a very maybe an extreme version of that. But let's just say guys like me who are into watching, say, certain adult videos with men who are wearing, we can always tell
Yeah,
when somebody is just being hired to do it as opposed to
yeah,
somebody who loves to do it. And it's yours is just a less dirty version of that. But it's true. You can totally tell the difference. I mean,
yeah,
it's you want to be, you are obviously you're a lover yourself and you are making them for people who love as well, so why not embrace it? And it's community goodwill and it's exciting and it will ring authentic because it is authentic. So yeah, I think
yeah,
that's the way to do it, and I don't think anybody has done that yet. So if you try
yeah.
to steal
Well,
the idea watching this, I'll come for you in the
copyright
night.
patented.
I'll be like, did you steal my idea? You suck.
Boycott you the whole way. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so no, so it is yeah, this what I mean. This year I have such big plans for it. I try not to scare myself with the big plans for it, but it is, yeah, I have big plans for it. There's so many directions I want to go and the where I want to take the brand. But it's just being able to get it done. Because I think it's like I was having this conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, if my brand was purely just my focus 24/7 and I could pull a wage from the brand and everything, it'll be a whole different scenario. It'll be a whole different ball game. I would have all the time in the world to just do anything. But
Right.
because having to work a job to obviously support me, so then I don't have to pull any money out the brand because it's still early days and a bit of a baby and it's still a work in progress. It is that whole thing of yeah, I can't do that. I have to kind of work to support all that and then have the brand and then yeah, so
It's a lot. It is a
yeah.
lot of work, but that's where I think, pull from the resources of the community. We're here for you.
Mm,
And I don't think that people are necessarily going to be like expecting or wanting, money as it's not, it doesn't have to be that kind of transactional. I
mm,
think other people, I think I know myself, and like I would do it just for the support of it. I mean, because it's no really,
yeah,
I can make it happen where it's not any skin off my nose. So and I know that there are other people out there too that have, like either links to photographers or know somebody who knows somebody. I mean, as a
mm,
community, that's where we can help each other. And I think that,
yeah, yeah,
there has to be an ambassador, and that's you. So, you know, everybody rally behind the person that you think will do the most, good for the community. And I think you're an example of that.
oh thank you. No, I really, yeah, I really appreciate that, thank you. Yeah,
You're very welcome.
yeah,
Now
I'm
I've hijacked
trying
it.
to
Now,
accept, you know what it is, I'm trying to accept compliments a bit more. It's a work in progress
you're
there
doing
as well.
good. You're doing good.
Yeah, instead of dismissing and be like, oh, shut up, it's kind of like, no, just be grateful and thank you.
Absolutely. They're the
Yeah,
hardest
yeah,
things to do is to just take a compliment. It's so hard to just sometimes just say, thank you. Even though
yeah,
all you want to say is, oh no, I don't know,
yeah. And you want to
every,
kind of like just put something just to completely dismiss it or just be like, oh no, you're being silly. And yeah, yeah, no, I'm learning. So yeah, that's what I mean. It was like, oh, thank you. But
well, you
yeah,
did good. I'd say that was well received.
oh, thanks. know what? Do you know what? Do you know what just coming to my head? Don't ask me how. I don't know how, but it's popped up. Okay, so I was speaking to someone the other day, right? I'm not gonna name any names just because I don't think they want to kind of
Were they famous? No, I'm just
oh
kidding.
yeah. No, they're not, they're not. They might be one day, but
Mm.
at the moment, no. Just your normal average Joe. So I was casually just talking to them about their journey. They obviously didn't want to come on onto the series or anything. So I was like, that's fine, just talk to me about it. I'm more than happy to listen, blah blah blah. So we were talking about it and really interesting journey, kind of similar to other people. In terms of they started off wearing young and
Hmm.
not really had the support, not really, they've hidden it for a long time
Hmm.
and everything. And anyway,
How old are they now, if you don't mind me asking? Are we 20s, 30s, 40s?
about 30s,
Okay.
40s, late 30s, 40s.
Okay.
I think yeah, I would say they look like that. And so anyway, so they were talking, and yeah, like I said, really, really interesting story. They really gripped me with the story, right? And then they spoke about obviously their mental health, and so because obviously not being accepted, they're kind of battling this whole feminine side that their mind wants to explore to, but then because it's sort of society deems it as wrong, you've got to be a man has to be a man, you can't dabble in that. And because there's so much of this, they didn't know obviously how to cope. So there's a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety with it. So naturally it's, anyway, and then literally they ended up speaking about their mental health and how bad it got in terms of there was a lot of self-harm. There
And
was a lot of
self-hatred, kind of like,
yes, they were
yeah.
ready. It's like they were ready to go at any point. They had devices, and I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want anyone to get triggered by
Things,
something.
things
But
were things were dire, is what you were saying.
yeah, things were ready. So if they were ready, they could just go. They didn't have to fact with anything.
That's
They
awful.
could just go. And it really got me. Honest to God, I literally it got me to tears because I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe. I understand the whole when they were explaining it, and obviously they went into a lot of depth, so I can understand the whole journey and why they got to that stage. I get that, but you know when you think you really thought about this, and it made me think about a lot of other like men or people who have the male anatomy
Hmm.
in the community, in terms of their mental health, thinking, especially a lot of people don't get support, especially from an earlier age. And even now, it is still very sort of, oh, don't get me wrong, there's a lot more talks about it, so it's becoming a lot more open, but there
But
still are
it's
communities and places that,
there are individuals, families that are that still stigmatize,
yeah,
seeing a psychologist or a
yeah,
psychiatrist. They see it as like an admitting to being weak or unnecessary, which is
yeah,
so toxic and untrue. Um,
yeah,
that's terrible. But I guess the one thing I could say is that it is good that this person was talking to you about this, because
yeah,
the one thing that people who actually go through with the act of doing that, um,
mm,
they don't tell people that anything. It's the ones who don't say anything. So the
yeah,
person's reaching out as a way of saying, I need help, which
yeah,
is against the grain of what people who actually go through with it do. Most of the time,
mm,
when it happens, people say, no, they never said anything. I never, knew.
yeah.
So, I can feel where your question is going, but I'm going to let you continue with what you were saying, because
Yeah, no, so it really made me think because obviously it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're in a lot of they're in a better place now. They're obviously, they've found ways to deal with things. I don't really want to kind of mention too much. Because you
right,
are happy for me to share this, but I don't want to say too much to
right, right.
kind of, but but it was just and you know what, it really made me think in the sense of is like, I mean, I don't know if you know, but would there be any support out there in terms of like, because obviously I know a fair bit about the community, but I don't know, for instance, ins and outs to be like, do you know what? There could be like a helpline that you could call, or there could be like articles that you could read that are dedicated to,
Well, it's
you know,
actually, I'm
that kind
actually
of thing.
working on a book about that very subject about like
Oh,
being a man and accepting to wearing. But and
yeah.
as far as resources go, I mean, the I could honestly say you can reach out to me.
Mm,
I'll have you put my email in the link. I know that, you know, like you may know my online persona, and but please understand that reaching out to me, especially if we're talking about something as serious as
yeah.
mental health, or you know, you being in a situation where you're vulnerable, I take that very seriously, and we're there to
Yeah.
discuss that and only that. So I think that the person who's going through this, like, first of all, you know, not alone. I know so many guys who are suffering in silence, and it's for
Mm,
something that I think is so unnecessary, because in the end, you can accept who you are, that you can accept that you have a feminine side, because it it is not bad to be feminine. This goes all the way back to
mm,
me with my feelings about religion, and how I think it has sort of it stained the way that men think, and the way that men treat women, and the way women see themselves, and the way women treat other women. I mean, it's just never been good. It's always been bad. And I think that basic rejection of the feminine comes from a lot of ingrained like religion, you know. And so
mm,
you have to understand that that's there to control people. And if you give into that kind of thinking, you're being controlled. If you can step out of it and you can talk to somebody about it, you'll learn that what you're feeling is it's not uncommon, it's super common, and b, it's something that you can get over and accept. You can be happy and be who you are, and be yourself without that fear, and you won't even lose the things that you think you're going to lose. And if you do lose somebody because you're being who you are, that's good, because you were
yeah.
going to find out one way or another that that person was double hearted, or they were loving conditionally, which is not love. You do not love, you know, you
Mm,
do not love with conditions, you love without
yeah.
conditions. And that's sad for them, but you can be okay with yourself. It is possible. But I would say reach out to me, and if you have people who write you and you want to say, you know, throw the questions at me, I would be happy to write a response, like sort of like a Q&A or anything like that. Or, you know, I don't mind, because I do respect and I really do appreciate that you understand that, like, even though you are a huge supporter of the community, and you know, one of the biggest out there, it's very nice that you recognize that there are some things that you cannot understand as a woman, just the way that there are things that I cannot understand as a
Yeah.
man from your point of view. And
Mm.
I would say, you know, if you want to reach out to me and talk about it, please do. I will respond within a day. I'm super OCD about emails, so that happens. So like, I get an email and I'm like, I'll just write it back. Um,
Yeah.
but I am working on a book about that, where we talk about, you know,
Oh,
the reasons why you might be afraid to wear, and the reasons why society does this. And I break it down, as well as, you know, what kind of sizes you should be looking for after a certain build, tips on how to shave your legs, like that kind of stuff. So I'm working on it. So it will be
that's
out, I'm hoping,
amazing.
by the end of this year. At least I'm going to self-publish it. So that'll be that's my
That,
contribution.
oh my God, that is amazing. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I want to be like one of the first 10 people to actually, if I can buy this book, I will buy it and
I
I will
thank
promote
you.
the hell out of it.
I am going to include pictures in it. So who knows? I think maybe I could include some pictures of like a certain brand by a certain. Do you know Soni Panda? I think that she would be really great for the book, and I think I'm going to contact her right now. I mean, we still need cover art, so you know, we just we'll talk later. We'll talk later.
Yeah, we will. We will.
But
We
yeah,
will.
absolutely. If people want to reach out, I'm more than happy to discuss. I have a Discord server too, that, you know, is a bunch of guys that, you know, like yes, some of it can be you know, like naughty, but there are legit conversations that can happen,
Yeah.
and everybody there is very respectful to people who are not looking to get that kind of, you know, interaction. I am very select about who I let in, and if
Yeah.
anybody is a creeper, I just send them seaworthy. So, yeah, I know it's tough. I really do understand that it is tough, and that a lot of times when you're trapped in that
Mm.
worldview, it seems like you will never get out of it. and that you'll never be free. But I believe that you can do it. It's just, again, back to the point where you have to face the fear that you're feeling about being yourself. And then once you do that, it falls into place.
No, yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah.
And if you do suffer from like certain mental illness, any sort of like situation like this is going to compound it and make it
Mm,
worse than it would be on its own. And so think of it as a way of making sure you're living your best life. Because if you accept who you are and try to say, well, what's more important, worrying about how other people are going to react for me being me, or me
mm,
suffering in silence because I don't want to cause any quote unquote waves.
mm,
The answer to me is obvious. You want to self preserve, you want to take care of
yeah.
yourself. So don't, there's no need to agitate what's already something that can be, really hard to deal with as is.
Mm, mm. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for that, by the way, and offering the fact that like you are open to all of that and that you can be contacted if if need be, kind of thing,
Absolutely. I mean,
at any stage.
it breaks my heart. I've talked to so many guys. I mean, we're talking thousands over the years, and I hear the same stories over and over and over again. And I just want to make it clear that it's like, no, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be ashamed. You can embrace yourself. There's so many of us out there. It's just, you got it. Like, there's people who have to, you're going to have to be the first wave. And I see it happening now where more and more
Mm,
people, but be the first of the brave, and then you'll be the
mm,
trailblazer. And that's great. It's what, you deserve for being brave. And I
yeah,
believe anybody can do it if they just bite the bullet and say, you know what, I might have to lose some people and some relationships that
yeah.
are not that good to begin with, if this is
Mm,
going to be a thing. Because anybody who is willing to dismiss a relationship of any kind, be it friendship, dating or parent child, whatever, if you're ready to dismiss that over an article of clothing,
mm, yeah,
that's your problem. And
yeah.
you might need to go and ask the doctor, why is it that I feel like I need to be so judgmental and unnecessarily cruel? Because that's what I
Mm,
think that is.
mm. No, no, and I do agree. It's just, it's not even like asking someone to just keep it. It's just to it's you like you, to accept it. It's like you don't any Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, or any Jane, Mary, or flipping Christina out there can. You know what? It's I always say just keep an open mind to things, and it's one thing also I've noticed as well. It's obviously just speaking to people through sharing your journeys as well as through DMs and emails and all other kind of methods. It is because it kind of brings it onto sort of validation as well. It's one thing I've seen a lot. It's, for instance, I get asked the question, "Oh, what do you think about men wearing tights?" And first it used to be. I remember when I got asked it years ago, and this was when I was starting to open up my mind to it. At first, it was what the hell's going on, but then first I was like, well, why do they? One, it was like, why do you need validation? Like, why do you care what I think? And the more I kind of spoke to people about it, the more I realized that validation is very important to some people in terms of one, if they can't speak to others, or for instance, they don't want to do therapy, they don't want to kind of bear themselves like that. So they think, oh, let me just ask a generic question. Oh, what do you think about men in tights? Not me, specifically like being a guy, but it's just as an overall, what do you think about men? Do you think like that's right and whatnot? And it kind of everything like that kind of
They're asking for a reason, and
yeah,
they're
it
just,
is just they're not just saying it, and it is just even when they're asking that, just no one, 90% of the time it is for them, but
I
two,
mean, I don't
it's
see how it could possibly be anything but that. I mean,
yeah,
it is an oddly specific question to ask if it's not pertaining to you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, how do you feel about how do you feel about guys who wear glasses? And I'm wearing glasses. It's like,
yeah, but like, oh wow, I don't
it'd be
know.
like, I hate them. I'd be like, oh, but so
Oh, okay.
like, okay, well, how about, but so it's like,
Yeah,
it's an oddly specific question. It's obviously somebody's
yeah,
asking, and they're trying to do it, or they're like, it's like that thing where people say, like, I have a friend who likes to
yes,
do this. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you do, huh? Tell me about your friend.
Yeah. What do they look like?
Yeah, do they look like
Honestly, what do they look like?
you? You know, oh God. It's like, well, they look,
Oh, God.
oh, they look just like me. Oh shit. Shit, shit.
Yeah, like, oh, never
But
mind
yeah,
this.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
so common. It is so common. It's and the more that I learn, the more that it's becoming like things like this, these conversations. It is so common, and I'll never forget. Like I was discussing it with this librarian friend of mine, and I think I don't know. Stop me if I've told you this because I think I've said this before, but in somewhere else. But if I have, I forgive me. But she's a librarian, and librarians on a whole, I don't know if you know this, but librarians are they're very good with like the kink scene. Like they're just, if you meet a
Oh,
librarian,
yeah.
they're just
Yeah,
going to, they're gonna,
yeah.
like book readers, they just are. And so I was like talking about the like pantyhose fetish, and I
Yeah.
was like, and I said, is it, and I kind of did the thing, this was, I was young, and I was like, it's kind of weird for like, I guess for guys to want to wear them, right? And she goes, what? No, that's like garden variety fetish. And I was like, oh, garden variety, which means we're like tomatoes. We can grow all over the place. And we do. So, that's how common we are. And
Oh,
so there's no reason to like think of yourself and your situation as it's so common, it's garden variety, which means there is nothing
mm,
to be worried about. It's super common.
that garden variety. I've never heard of that before, and I
Yeah,
like it.
I do too, because it really it puts
Yeah.
things into perspective about how just everywhere it is, and everybody likes tomatoes, everybody likes garden variety vegetables, they're useful, they're delicious, and they grow everywhere. Well, aside from people being delicious, which I don't know if that really falls into it, it does pertain to us. There we're ubiquitous, and we are
Yeah.
everywhere. So
Mm, no, it's yeah, it is true, and I totally 100% agree with that. And I think that's what I mean. It's having this kind of community, and it's like even when I did my sharing your journeys, and it was just going from what I was and my mentality to now, and you think the world is getting there. The world is slowly getting there. Let me just say,
mhm.
in terms of in terms of the whole LGBT Q plus community, men wearing hose, and because now it's like before I could see it being a big deal. To me, like not trying to sound bad or anything like that, and anyone, it's just I now deem hosiery as a piece of clothing. And to me, it's well, why is there such a big deal about a piece of clothing? Because
it
do you know what I mean? It sounds so bad me saying it like that, but then I'm just trying to
Why does
think.
that sound bad? I mean, that just sounds accepting to me. Like you're like, why is it a big deal? Like that's
I mean, I don't know because some people might see it as a very big deal. Like, yeah,
well,
but hers is
those
such a huge deal to me. Doesn't mean I
that
don't want to offend
I
anybody.
don't think that that's what
But
you. I mean, that's not what I'm getting from you. I think that you're, from what I'm understanding, when you ask that question, you're saying like, why is it a big deal to people who are making it into something that it's not? Like
yeah,
that is because, and I can tell you where it is. Like, there's a root. It's rooted in something very specific, but it all comes back to that. Men wearing tights is a problem because people will think that they're gay. And what's the bad part about people thinking that you're gay? People thinking you're feminine. And right there, it goes right back to the whole like, you know, not accepting of women. It's misogyny wrapped up in another, form. That's what it is. I'm convinced of it. And I believe that's where it all comes from. This rejection of women and all of these world religions has created anytime a man does anything that's feminine, it's considered less than. But when somebody says that, when somebody says like, oh gosh, a guy acting feminine, that's just so gross. What does that say about women? And that's what it says about women. And I love women. I mean, like, which, like many of my like biggest heroes are women. And I've never been threatened by a strong woman because my mom's a strong woman. And I was just raised to like understand that this is the way that some women are. And I'm not threatened by women. A lot of men aren't threatened by women. And when they are, comes out in weird and twisted sort of judgmental ways, such as judging people for looking feminine or judging people for whatever. But it really kind of it's rooted in that whole like, oh, they're going to think I'm gay. Oh, they're going to think I'm, feminine.
yeah.
And that's just like, that's so tired. It's like, really? That's your biggest fear?
Mhm.
Because anybody who's afraid of being perceived as gay might be gay. Just saying, like I
Yeah.
remember a time in my life when I was afraid of it. And hello. So,
Yeah, no, I get that, and yeah, I understand that now. Yeah, because before I couldn't. It's like I kind of wanted to explore it, but it was just I couldn't get to the end thing. But you putting it simply as that, it was like, yeah, it actually is that
I
kind of
believe so.
yeah,
I believe
yeah.
it's all based in the sort of cultural you know
Mhm.
rejection of women, because when women can wear men's, and they don't care, we don't care if women dress like men, because women, I mean, who cares about women, like women can do whatever they want because they're not really important, they're not the manly men have to dress like
Yeah,
men, and if they act like women, well then we'll have a society of only women, where it's like, hello, like the irony here is that it's the women who actually do all the hard work. Like, I've never popped a baby out of my body, but I can tell you
yeah.
that I've talked to a few ladies who have, and it's a lot of work. And even
Mhm.
still, like, it's just from from what I can gather, being a woman is harder. Whatever
Mhm.
like you can be a like born woman, you could be a trans woman, but if it's harder, society is going to give you a tougher
Yeah,
time. You're going to have more challenges, and you're going to have to like work twice as hard to get half as far, and that sucks. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where I come in and I say, yeah, if you're gonna try to make me feel bad about being feminine, well then I got a surprise for you. Like, I
Mm,
that's not an insult. It's, in fact, you thinking that's an insult makes you stupid.
yeah, yeah. No, I do get that. Yeah. I'm
Because
kind of yeah. Sorry, go on.
you're a strong woman yourself. I mean, like, you're awesome. It's I mean, I know that there are guys out there who are intimidated by a woman like you, but you know what? Fuck them, because
Mm,
that's their loss. And, like, maybe those guys who are intimidated, maybe, do a little self work, talk to some doctors yourself, maybe try to figure out what it is that your problem is, because it's not
yeah,
the rest of the world's problem. If you have an issue with somebody who's doing nothing to you, that is not affecting your life in any way, and you have an issue with it, that is speaking to something that's happening inside you and not about the other person. You are projecting,
yeah,
and that's that.
yeah. And I've seen that so much recently in the sense of like, oh god, excuse me, oh god, that came out of nowhere. Like, I see what it is. I'm so relaxed. I'm
You
like,
got, you got me. That
I'm
isn't
sorry.
fair. You did
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. It's just I was, you know what it is. I'm just so like relaxed and so chill talking about this. That's what it is. That's what it is. Not because I'm like fed up with you. No.
Oh, that's thank you. Well, now I wasn't concerned about it before, but now I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not concerned about you being bored with me now. But thank you.
Just I thought I'd reinforce that. That's all.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, but it's like I've seen that a lot recently in the sense of like, for instance, when I post images of men wearing hosiery, whether it's a couples or they show their face or it's just their legs or something, and it's like it's like they go out their way to comment, and you think, one, why, and two, it's like, what's the point? Why can't you just sort of scroll on? What's the need to spread negativity or spread your point? Because it's like, don't get me wrong, like a lot of some of my male friends don't agree with it. They don't like, they look at my page and think, oh my god, is that men's legs? And I'm like, yeah, aren't they bloody stunning?
I mean,
And they're
like,
like,
what is there to disagree with it? I mean, like,
yeah,
it's not like it's, should we kill animals or not kill animals, or should we, like, or like stop mining for like, or do fracking or something? It's like, this is a non-issue. Like, why do you feel like you have to agree with what a man can wear that's not you? Like, what a weird thing to think you need to chime in on. And what a weird thing
exactly.
to specifically speak about it. It's as almost though you're sort of like, methinks the lady doth protest too much. I feel like when there's a guy who is reacting like that,
Yeah, yeah,
that's you could probably say, "Oh, here's a pair of my tights. You should try them on. I bet you'll like them." And they'll be like, "No," and then just like go home and be like, "Ee." So that's what I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, no, but I do agree. I actually do think it's down to that now, like, because now it's like I don't respond to it anymore, or I'll just be like, yeah, cool, thanks for stopping by. thank you for dropping a comment or engaging or something. Like I'll just joke it off now. Before I would like go in, I would just go in and attack and defend. And now it's like, actually, do you know what? The more like I learn about this and the more deeper I kind of get with it and all the different types of levels of conversations I have with people, I realize actually, yeah, do you know what? It's exactly how you said. There's something more to that comment. It's not just, oh, they're putting a sickening emoji to a to men's legs, because it's like, why? Because it's like, back to my friend, it's like, yeah, they look at my page and they think, oh, I don't agree, but yeah, I appreciate some type of art, so that's cool. But they're never gonna just sit there and put comments on to be like, I don't agree with this. They're just
I
like,
mean,
look, they're
yeah,
500 icons at the end of the day.
yeah.
Uh,
Most of the time,
yeah.
like if somebody is like, I mean, if somebody is like the the way I see it, and I said it before, I think with you, but like if you are have you ever gone home after working and been busy out and about in the day and sat there and like criticized somebody's outfit to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they were wearing that. Why would they wear that? And you find yourself angry, not like
Mm.
shocked or maybe even entertained, but angry that somebody's wearing something. You have to ask yourself, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Why do I feel anger
Yeah.
over something that really should be a non-issue?
Mm.
Because what other people wear is not, I don't care. It's sort of like thinking about like, I wonder how a penguin, if a penguin farted in like the North Pole right now. I don't care. I don't need to know. And if one did,
Mm.
you okay there? Oh no.
Just picturing it now. It's quite funny.
It's, yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine how that would look, right?
Oh god. Okay, but yeah,
I
I get
gotcha.
get your point.
I gotcha. Oh, that's good.
Oh, anyway.
Well, that's that now that I'm happy about that. I'm always good if I can get a laugh like that. That's good.
Oh god, yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what
Yes.
you mean. You shouldn't have to care about that.
Yeah, it's
But
not something that
yeah,
really just should be on the I give a crap list. Like
yeah,
it's just, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say that any guy who is vocalizing about it is
Mm,
just closeted in their own way. And you know, you can't confront a closeted person with the fact that they're closeted. That is literally the worst thing you can do. So, you know, I guess the only way you can deal with them is just, yeah, like you do, is just sort of be like, all right, well, it's nice that you can
drop
like, thank you,
by.
thanks for
Yeah,
contributing to the discourse,
yeah, yeah.
and good luck
Oh.
with whatever you're doing.
No,
Whatever.
exactly,
Hopefully,
exactly.
hopefully you can share your journey one day.
Yeah, one day, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, in the near future, but you know, and maybe not. I don't know. Some people's journeys, you know,
Mm,
are not triumphant because they get on people's pages and write like trolly stuff.
mm.
Like nobody's really interested to be like, you know what, I'd love to learn about like just how somebody is a troll. Like I want to follow the life of a troll and just watch people say negative things online all day. Like that seems like somebody I want to get to know. No.
Yeah. Do you know, you say that, yeah. I had this very similar conversation a while back, and I remember this was one point where that quite a while ago, where it was like I would just go into defense mode and just attack back, and it was like I remember saying, do you know what? I'd love to know what's going through their mind when they're writing. It's like, yeah, like a day in the life of a troll. Like, how do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up thinking I'm gonna fuck up somebody's day? Oh God, I'm gonna like
I think
everybody's day today.
I think that you will find there like that person, if you focused on one particular person, I think what you'll find is a movie or a documentary that is thoroughly depressing because
Mhm.
there is just it's never a good place that that kind of person has the time in their day to
Yeah.
sit down and to find something and to try to actively make the world more negative. Like we all have negative thoughts. We all have thoughts that are,
Yeah.
crappy. We all insult, like, I mean, say insulting things in our minds about other people. But when we do that, we all know why we do that. It's because we're insecure or it's because we're jealous. I mean, that's where it comes from. When you're making fun of somebody, it's because you are not happy with whatever it is they're projecting. I mean, that's pretty much like not guard, it's like brass tacks, like psychology.
Mhm.
So, and if I find myself making fun of, like say, okay, for instance, I made fun of the Jenners. Well, yeah, I mean, of course I'm making fun of the
Yeah.
Jenners. They don't give a damn what I say. Like they'll never know what I say. And if even if they did, they'd be like, well, I'm just gonna cry with my billions of dollars to the bank. So, right there is an example. But it still was fun to make fun of them too. But I mean, but
Yeah.
if you're going onto the internet and as an anonymous person and you're trying to
Mm,
cause negative you know feelings to happen in a place where that's clearly not what this is about, like
yeah.
go ahead and find yourself a blog of people who hate men who wear pantyhose, which I would love to find that blog. Oh, it would be so much fun to
It
just
actually would. It
dissect
actually
it. And I actually do
would.
dissect an old blog from years ago where this person sort of talks about how it's this person was just a bit of a I'd say it doesn't surprise me that they then grew into becoming a bit of, say, like what we would call a Bible thumper, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
they're just their whole breaking down of why men wear and how it doesn't make them gay and it's only because of circulation. And I was like, okay, sure. Circulation, right? It's because you have restless leg syndrome. That's why you wear them. Okay, sure. Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever gets you home, buddy.
Oh, I love these sayings. I swear to God, I'm gonna start adopting some of these just because
Hey, I
they're
think, and
so cool.
they'll sound charming with the British accent. It's like everything sounds better to us when the Brits say it. You can like
Oh,
literally, you can say any word. We're like, oh, that sounds so much more intelligent.
really? Oh, I didn't think we sounded like that cool.
Yeah, ask any American, people will be like, oh yeah, British just means smarter.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep, that's how it goes.
I'll take that. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Well, I hate to keep you for much longer. I feel like I'm hogging all your day, but
Oh, it's cool. But yeah, honestly, you know what? Thank you so much for coming. One, thank you so much for coming on. There's so many things I want to say about you.
always, I
Like,
will come back on as many times as you'd like to have me.
oh,
I
yeah.
love this. I love the discourse.
Yeah, honestly, when I have my next set of questions, yeah, I'll call you back on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm game. I'm game. And thank you so much for just having me on. I mean, this is always a thrill. It's great to be able to sort of get a chance to speak to your audience, and I appreciate you for that, for giving the stage to me and allowing me to put my point of view out there. It's really awesome, and I am very thankful for that.
Oh no, anytime. Honestly, it's always a pleasure having you on. Honestly, every time. It's like I said, when people ask me, like, "Oh yeah, what's your series about?" and I'm like, "Okay, I can tell you which episodes you need to watch." I was like, some of these. So if you want something a bit hard hitting, watch this one. If you want something that's amazing, I was like, yes, watch one of the
Oh,
Titanic
thank you.
ones.
That's
So trust
awesome.
me, yeah. Honestly, it's always a pleasure to have you on here, and you know you're always welcome. If you want to just come on and talk trash, I'll have you on. And
Oh, I,
always
I would live for it. I mean, just like consider me like metaphorically at the door knocking. Just I'm there.
okay.
Not in real life, that would
So,
be creepy. Plus, I've never been to London, but I think I mean, I just would do a few things before I'd go knocking on your door, because that just seems like that would be insane. But I'd also try to call you first because it's
okay,
polite.
yeah. Just make
Don't
sure
want to
I'm
have a
home. Just call me to make sure
it,
I'm home.
right, exactly,
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
like
Maybe
put you in
bring
sort
some
of.
flowers as well. I like flowers.
Yeah, just not, and also not leave you in like sort of a Liv Tyler and the Strangers kind of thing where it's like, why is there someone knocking at my door? That's the worst, when somebody's knocking at your door and you don't anticipate a knock. Oh,
Right.
it's the worst. The worst.
For you. And it's like, and even if you don't come bearing gifts, and I'm like, who is this? Whereas if you come rocked up to the door with, say, like some flowers, a bottle of like non-alcoholic beverage, and some chocolates or some food, trust me, you'll be so much more accepted by everybody.
Oh, I will bring some water and food and everything. like I'll bring water and gumdrops because I I'm just kidding. I'll bring a stuffed turkey.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll have a roast dinner.
Yeah,
I'm
just show up with like Thanksgiving in a bag and be like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't think this out. Didn't think this one through.
Gosh, but yeah, God. No, honestly, yeah, it's been great to have you on. So thank you so, so
Thank you
much.
so much again, and we will talk soon.
Oh, we will. Yes, that we will.
Bye.